Yo, today I'm going to show you how to make a fire acoustic guitar loop for artists like the Kid LAROI, WRLD, and Polo G. I'm going to play you the full loop and then we'll break it down. Alright, so first we have the main guitar part, which I kept super simple. I just have an EQ, which is just rolling off all the bottom and like the low frequencies. And then we got an R compressor with the electric guitar setting, which I always really like. I always keep the threshold at 0, so it's kind of not really doing something, but still doing something. If you've seen my other videos, I've talked about this before. And then we got the world famous Valhalla vintage verb. I'm doing the mix at about 7.1%, the decay at 3 seconds. This is in the concert hall mode. And then I decided to send the signal to a bus with another reverb. And by doing this, I feel like it gives it a nice vibe, like a really like sad kind of dark vibe, but it doesn't totally wash it out with reverb. And on this, I'm just sending a little bit of it and it's going to another Valhalla vintage verb. And then on the bus, it's a 100% mix and then a little bit longer of a decay time. And then on this, I have it panned just a little bit to the left. It's at -2. Next, we got the second guitar part, which is basically the exact same chain as the first one, but I'm taking a little bit off the top end. So here you can see it's the same EQ, R compressor, and then the Valhalla, but then I just have this other EQ here, which is just taking a little bit off the top. And I like to do this sometimes where I take the top end off the lead part, just to make sure that the main guitar part is the focal point and that I'm not distracting from that. And then on this, same thing, busting it out to the same reverb. I think I'm doing a little bit more though on this, just to push it back. Nope, exact same thing, scratch that. This is a dumb simple loop, man. I'm trying to make it more complicated than it is. And the only other thing with this lead part is I just have it panned more to the left, so that's at -16. One thing I like to do when I'm making loops is I like to just have a hi-hat and a clap already in the session, and I feel like it makes it so much easier to be coming up with parts to the drums. So I just have a really simple 2-step hi-hat that's always in the session, and then a really simple trap clap. So I'll start by having that, and then I'll just have that playing in the speakers while I'm coming up with parts. And I just feel like it helps to know where the end result is going to be, because it's, you know, at 175 BPM, it's probably going to be kind of like a 2-step thing that whatever the producer takes this loop does. And I just find that it makes it a lot easier. Plus, you're able to know where the bounce is going to be, as opposed to doing some really crazy intricate guitar part, and then the producer you pass the loop to is like, yo, I have no idea where the hi-hat bounce is going to be. So next up, we got the vocal chop, which is my favorite part of the loop. I recorded it using Logic's Varispeed, so it is my voice, but it made it sound like a female vocal. This is what it sounds like with no effects and Varispeed turned off. And then I have a pretty simple chain. It's some auto-tune with the retune speed at 11. I got Pro Q3, which is just taking out some of the low end, some of the boxiness. I got R compressor with the vocal setting, which I'm doing about 3 dB of gain reduction. An EQ, which is taking out the bottom and the top, which kind of gives it like a telephony effect. A de-esser. For some reason, I decided to use the vintage tube EQ, which is stock in Logic, and I was pushing the drive about 3.6, which is just giving it some saturation and grittiness. And then got some reverb and another EQ, which is taking more of the bottom and more of the top off. And this is also being sent to the same reverb bus as the first 2 guitars. So this is it with everything on. And then on the B section of the loop, I have a third guitar part, which is just doing hits on the downbeats. And then on this one, I'm using the exact same chain as the first guitar. The only thing that makes this one a little bit different compared to the others is that I'm sending a little bit more signal to the reverb bus, which just helps it stay in the back. And it becomes something that you feel rather than hear. And then lastly, we got the fourth guitar part, which is more of a rhythmic thing, and I felt like it gave the loop a nice bounce. On this one, I'm doing the least, which is just EQ, the R compressor, and then sending a lot of it to that reverb bus. But compared to the other guitar parts, it's pretty dry. And I also have it panned to the right, which just keeps it out of the way of the vocal. And that's all the parts. Let's take a listen again to the full loop. want to get this loop, it's in my free loop kit called Acoustic Dreams, which you can download with the first link in the description. And please hit that subscribe button so I can keep making more videos like this. Peace.